Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're joining us. I have a really exciting interview that I have the privilege of facilitating today. And I want to jump right in and introduce our guests. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Tanya Cottrell. I'm a Blue Diamond with dōTERRA. And the guests that are with us today are some of my fabulous leaders, some of my the leaders I work the closest with on my team, Ramona and Kirk Keller. And I have been working with Ramona since very early in my business, and it's just been a huge privilege to have such quality partners on my team. And I just really wanted a chance for you to hear their story because it's really unique and it's so inspiring, and it helped me so much in watching them and watching Ramona in her journey and watching Kirk in his journey as well. It just helped me to really build my belief in our company, in our opportunity, and it occurred to me recently, I don't think enough people have heard your story, I told them, and I asked them if I could interview them because you are sure to be moved and inspired, and I hope that it challenges you to think about things in a new way, and let's just dive right in. So Ramona is someone that I have known for a long time, since I was actually young, and we kind of got reacquainted. Oh gosh, 5.5 years ago, close to 6 years ago. And I'll let her tell you a little bit about that story, but dōTERRA kind of gave us a connection point, and it's been really fun to get to work together. Kirk is Ramona's husband of 3 years. You just had your 3rd anniversary, correct? So happy anniversary. Right. And they are coming to us from Bozeman, Montana, but up in the mountains because they have a beautiful home that they've been renovating, kind of cabin home up on the mountain in the forest, and it just looks gorgeous there. So welcome, Ramona and Kirk. And I think I'm just going to dive right in. And Ramona, since you are the one that kind of came into this business to begin with, let's start with you. And I'd love for you to just give us a little bit of a snapshot of where you were in life when you first were introduced and became involved with dōTERRA. Can you tell us a little backstory there?
Yes, yeah, I sure will, Tanya. Thank you for this opportunity too. Well, this where I was at in this point in my life was summer 2012, and this backstory involves my late husband Don. So when I speak of him, you'll know what this is about. We had been married 32 years, and we'd raised 2 biological children that were grown, and we had grandkids. And we had 3 of the 4 children that we had internationally adopted still in our home. We had 2 that were from Colombia and 2 from Sierra Leone. And I was homeschooling, and we're just struggling to put food on the table. And gas in the tank. We're talking, we were around that time, $4 a gallon of gas, and we drove an older Suburban, so you can kind of get that picture. And it had been 4 years that we were in that housing construction depression, is what it was. It was literally a depression. And our home had been in foreclosure, and we at this point we had lost all our dreams. And in fact, Don made a really tough decision, but it looked like the only decision was to go to driving school and go over the road to trucking. That was the farthest thing from any vision we had ever had. It was about, we wanted family time, we wanted camping, we wanted to make memories, and it was all done. We knew he wouldn't be around much at all. And so it was really more about survival than anything. Like I said, the dreams were gone. And the only hope we had, and it was still big enough, plenty big, was in God. Because we knew that no matter what, he would take care of us because he had done it so many times before. As far as what we could do next step, it wasn't there. Well, that was a point there where, Tanya, you reached out, and about that time, and you were new with dōTERRA, and you invited me to a class because you knew, due to our connection on Facebook, that Don and I were we're dealing with the after effects of whooping cough. We both got it. We were like really sick, and so we just weren't yet kicking the after effects of it. So you reached out to me, and so that first one I couldn't attend, but I was just intrigued. I just wanted to know what this was, and I had already had a lot of faith in natural medicine. I had seen results of it, but at the point where I got to attend a class, I realized when I heard this part, that the essential oils were 50 to 70 times more potent than an herb. I was like, I don't believe it. I've got to have this, because I saw some results with some herbs, and I thought, I got to have it. And so anyway, but the fact was, we were still very broke. I'm talking really broke. There just wasn't any money. And so I still kept in contact with you, and I thought, oh, how can I get these? Well, Don, though, while he's out on the road, and he'd call me now and then, he'd just tell me about what pain he was in, and I could just hear agony in his voice. He was just having a lot of pain shooting down a leg, which kind of sounded like some nerve pain, and he wasn't able to sleep at night. He was getting on the road with an 18-wheeler with only like 2 hours of sleep, and I was just worried, sick continually. And so I called you up, and I said, I've got to get that deep blue rub I heard about in that class. I've got to get it to him, because he's in a pain, and anything I do to help him so that he can sleep. But again, really broke. I mean, I was stealing from Peter to pay Paul to just try to get gas in my gas tank at that point. But here it was September 18th, 2012. I took $35, and I did purchase that deep blue rub, and I mailed it out to him. And by the time he got it, it was like slept 5 hours that first night. So I mean, to me, it was like, okay, not knowing what we were dealing with though. But I just decided, okay, I was asking you all, Tanya, all the questions, because I thought, I need these oils. I wasn't thinking about income. At that point, I was just thinking, I need these oils. And so I was like, how can I do this? I can't get a kit, and it was like $35. $35 is what I need. Okay, so that's what I did. And I set up that LRP, and I set up 120.
Yeah, with dōTERRA.
Yeah, that loyalty rewards program, I set it up for 125 PV points, so that I could possibly earn some money from others wanting it too. I was pretty stoked about it.
So at this point, I remember you had just put in $35 was all. You didn't have a kit or anything. You just set up an order pending and held it, knowing that would give you the ability to have a dōTERRA account that you could potentially earn some income if you found anyone else.
Absolutely.
And so you were hoping, I remember that was the plan, is to hope you found some people and that you could earn more than what you're going to pay out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And even at that point, I only had a debit card, because we didn't even want to trust ourselves with a credit card, because it would just be too easy of a way to solve things, but dig our hole deeper. We didn't have money for minimum payments. That's how bad it was. So it was on a debit card, knowing that there wasn't much money in there at all. And I told the Lord, I said, Lord, if you're going to provide it this way, then I know you can. But if I don't have some income I don't have the income that comes in and covers this LRP, I'll take this sign. I'm not supposed to do it, and I'll cancel it. I can do that. But at this point, this is a huge step of faith. Yeah.
It was a big step of faith, I remember.
It was a big step of faith, because I was really trying to be financially responsible, and it was not a time to do anything crazy. Right. But the really cool thing about it was that I did start. You came, you did a couple classes. I didn't have even oils to be able to show anybody. You just came with your oils and you taught the classes for me, and I got right off like
You
2 days
invited
later.
the people,
I got my first.
and I taught the class oils, and it worked, right? I love that partnership that you can get people started that way. So.
Yes, that's what you did, and because I had nothing.
Yeah. You had a few friends sitting around in your living room, and that was where it started.
That was it. I got the living room cleaned, and I got my boys to stay up in their room during it because my husband was on the road. I didn't have anybody to kind of entertain them or take them, and they're teenagers, but teenagers still feel like they need a little, So anyway, that was it. We had those classes, and I wanted these so bad. So anyway, I'm trying to think next. So what came? Well, checks. That's what came, was the checks, because I said to you, these checks came in the mail. Like I got 2 weeks in a row of checks, and I go, I got checks in the mail. Because I remember, I don't know, Tanya, the first time you met with me over in a park and showed me the compensation plan and stuff, I didn't look at it. I wasn't really interested. I'd had some prior MLM experience, and I was just a little cautious. But I thought, that's why I thought, I'm going to do this as a business. I'm not gonna go that far, but I gotta have.
Most of us have those bad perceptions from bad. Yeah.
Yes, I had some wrong perceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did. So anyway, those checks came in, and then I had this little side job. I was subcontracting places for exchange students, and I got a little check in for that. And by the time it was the 14th of that following month for my enrollment, I had enough to buy a natural solutions kit. And I also, like I say, it was only 14th. So I got
that's a great kit
of the month. Yeah, I got the free product of the month too. So I was really stoked at that point, because my efforts were paying off, and this was just, it's like, well, I'll just tell you right now, I never had to pay for another LRP after that.
Out of pocket.
Because out of pocket, exactly. I never had to pay for that monthly. For those who don't know what that is, you were never in the red.
You never owed more than you, or paid more than you made.
No.
Which I could say the same for myself.
No.
That's what I love to see people.
Yeah.
Right from the beginning. No debt.
Right.
No loss. Just
no. Yeah. It was just amazing that right then that's what shocked me, because I hadn't put out a big investment, and I got checks already. So that was so awesome. But, so anyway, I honestly was super busy though. I'm saying busy leading up to that busy, not saying dōTERRA just made me busy. I was really busy, and I felt spread thin. My husband was on the road, and of course homeschooling. I was running kids to activities. I mean, we had track, soccer, Civil Air Patrol, one in theater, and youth group. And I mean, it was just, my kids were doing all kinds of stuff. And so exactly, homeschool co-op. So anyway, and then my exchange student program, where I was recruiting families. And so I honestly did not feel like it was a perfect time to start a business.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, this is not a perfect time.
The worst time in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is just not really a great time for it. But this is where the story turns, okay? And this is where we're heading into what the big turning point. Let's see, the first big turning point. It was Thanksgiving 2012 is what it was, okay? And a week in advance to that, Don had been trying to get a load back to Montana. He'd been over on the East Coast, stuck over there, just going up and down the East Coast. And so he'd already been gone 4 months at that point that we hadn't seen him. And he was pleading with his truck dispatcher to please let him have a load that he could come back to Montana to be home for Thanksgiving with us, because we were certain he would not be Christmas, that we would not have him. And so anyway, he left the day he left New Jersey. The following day, Hurricane Sandy hit. And he would not have survived if he had been there at that time. So that was a miracle in itself. So he got home November 19th. And this picture is just etched in my mind when he came home that evening, and he had driven to the house where we were at and walked in the door. We weren't prepared at all. He looked like walking death. He had lost 25 pounds. He was really just not even recognizable, the same person. And, we knew he didn't feel well, when he was out there on that road, but he just kept going because he didn't see any other option. He had to support his family. There was no other way. And so that was, like I say, that big turning point.
You knew something.
And so so I just was so unprepared for what was going to be next. And that's coming up here. Yeah, so that's right. He thought, Thanksgiving weekend, I thought, maybe if we get some good food in him, he's not eating well from truck stops, that maybe we'll change this. Maybe he'll get his strength back. I mean, honestly, I have to say I was delusional at that point, just because I was probably more in shock than anything. But he just laid his head on that table at Thanksgiving. And that was obvious that it was way more than that. It wasn't good food that was going to change what was going on with him. And so he was just bound and determined that Monday he was going to get back on his truck and go. And so being the way it was with him, I just knew I couldn't say, no, you can't go, because he'd say, I have to go. So anyway, I just said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to, you're going to call your boss tonight, and you're going to tell him, this is Sunday night, that you're not going to be on the truck tomorrow because you're sick and you need to go see a doctor. And so he was willing to do that. And Monday morning came, I called our doctor friend, and I met him at his office. He just said, go get some blood work done and meet me in my office at 4:30. So we did. We came to his office, and when we walked in his office, the look on his face was just frightening. And he just said, I'm sorry, I can't see you in this office for what these results say. You need to head right to the ER. So he, being the man of integrity he was in his practice, he asked to pray with us. And so he prayed with us, and we went out the car. And that was another point of big faith. And I turned to him and I said, we're going to make a pact right here. And what that's going to be is we're not going to worry about anything. That means we're not going to worry that you were 1 week from getting health insurance. Also that we don't have any money, and that you have probably lost your job now. Your job is probably not going to be there for you, but God will take care of us. He always has before, and he will again. So anyway, we went to the ER with him, and it was there that within an hour, they were running tests. They came out, and the ER doctor gave us the diagnosis. And the diagnosis was prostate cancer, stage 4, and it metastasized in his bones. And what already was difficult for us was now going to become even harder. And so during that time, many people reached out to me with that news. My phone was just like vibrating. I turned it to vibrate. It was just vibrating. So many people reaching out. And And even at that time, that one of the early people I enrolled reached out to me just to tell me that she knew that I was, it was like I was publicizing I had a business, but evidently because I was telling people about doTERRA and all, and inviting the classes, that she wanted to enroll with me. And that's where you, Tanya, took off with, even teaching those first couple classes like that while might have been more than 2. I'm not even aware what was happening.
I'm sure it was a fog at that point. So tell me, because here we're talking about your business, and yet your story, you're at this, there's no other way to define it, but like an epic crisis in your life. How was it that you came to deciding to invest into building a doTERRA business? I mean, a lot of people would say that would probably be the point where you would say, I'm out. I don't have the bandwidth for anything like this. But you didn't. You went in all the way. So what made this become part of your life and made you think seriously about building an actual business with doTERRA, facing this diagnosis and all of the financial stress that comes with that?
Well, okay, so here we go. After that week that Don was first hospitalized with that diagnosis, and I brought him home, I called you, Tanya, and I was sharing that news. It wasn't happy news at all. It was that Don wouldn't be able to work. He was now going to be disabled, and your response to that was, of course, compassionate. But you also encouraged me. You said, Ramona, doTERRA can be your business. You can earn income with it. And even at that point, you said to me, I'm getting $2,000 a month right now, and you can earn income. And the fact that you believed in me and you said that, and you'd already supported me because you were already, like I had that new person that you were doing some classes for. You were showing me that you were going to support me, and you believed in me. And I really think that in those circumstances, if you had not been willing to just say that, I may not have even dawned on me that I mean,
I don't even remember that conversation
like
specifically, but obviously you remember it in detail.
I remember it. Yes.
I knew it this.
Yeah. Yes, we were so new, connecting on a whole different level because you were a teenager back before, and and I was a mom of teens, and
so yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was just, everything was just, we were connecting on a whole different level. So, and you were new, but you had a belief already in that short time. I don't know.
It could be your safety net. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Connected in my mind, like this could be a way that they could make it. So.
Yes. Yeah. So it's so true. And, I really had at that point a bigger reason that had to do, with quality of life with the oils too. Mm-hmm. I mean, because these oils were going to help with this journey. So it really
helping.
Heard what you said about, yes, I heard what you said about income, and it just encouraged me that while I could be earning income at the same time learning more about these oils and how to help him, and actually be helping other people too. Mm-hmm. And at a time that I could have felt like I was cut off from everybody because of our circumstances and all. So I knew I was going to be a sole provider, and I took this decision very serious.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that we could all say we come into this business or toying with the idea of the business part of doTERRA with some doubts and some major questions running through our head. And so I'm sure you had some doubts and some reservations about actually moving forward, putting the time into growing a business, and you had so much else that you were handling on your own. So what were some of your doubts and reservations, and why did you choose to push forward and go for it despite those?
Well, you know, I mean, like before, I was, I mean, life was was going to change even more dramatically than what already was happening. And, you know, I was thinking at that time, it's like, I am super busy. What am I, how am I going to do this? I'm super busy. But, you know, I mean, I was thinking, here I am. Normally I should be waiting for something like this until I'm done homeschooling I mean, I only got like 2-3 years left, and my kids will be more independent and on their own, so to speak, and all. And I'm thinking, you know, I've got these responsibilities, and you know, but what I had to do is I really had to come up with this game plan. For one of it was how to let other people share my load with them too, as well. Of, yeah, I had to get people for rides for my kids. I things that I never did before. I was very independent that way, and there's people stepped in places where I couldn't be. So that doubt, I did come up with a solution for. Though I was still busy, but I had people step in for me because this was a job, and I treated it like it was a job.
You did, I remember. Yeah.
Whether I was going somewhere else or not, I still needed rides for my kids, you know, whether I was working at home or I was going somewhere to meet with somebody, I was still working my job. And so I needed help. And so I could have had those doubts could have really shut me down, but I thought, I don't have a choice, and this looks good for what it could turn out to be for me.
Yeah, you really, and I don't think you really gave yourself the option, because you really didn't have other options. So you were really very real with yourself about it. I have to make this work. That determination. So, you know, I'm about 6 years in now on my business, and I kind of have this bird's eye view now of many people's stories, and the privilege of time and experience to see a variety of people that have difficult circumstances, various levels of difficult circumstances, some really, really heartbreaking like yours. And I see some people just say, I can't, and they don't, or they get started and then they stop, and they just they look at the circumstances and it's not possible. And then I see others like you that have really shown me what's possible, that say that I have to, like what could be my reason not to is becoming my reason why I will. And it's really built such a belief in me, just watching stories unfold and watching your story unfold, to know what people are capable of, and to believe that circumstances never have to determine results. And it has really compelled me, excuse me, to boldly tell people that with confidence that if they want to do it, they absolutely can, despite circumstances. So I love that your story can give us a really real example of that. So could you speak into the level of obstacle that you faced as you were launching and growing your business during that time?
Well, you know, at that point, you know, I was at a crossroads. I mean, I had to do something. And it was either I latch onto this dōTERRA opportunity or something that I am passionate about, or and like connecting with others and investing in others, or go work a job, no longer be present for my kids and available to look after my dying husband. And I was an entrepreneur at heart, and I wanted what I did do to make a difference. I wasn't going to just let anything stop me at that point. And because dōTERRA was going to bring us hope. I finally had some hope that dream, could come out of it. And so I could not stop. I could not let anything stop me. But yes, as for obstacles, I had it right out of the gate. I had an obstacle, and that was like I mentioned about what was happening with Don right from the start, and then gosh, we had lots of doctor's appointments that I needed to drive him to because he couldn't drive, and I would, but during that obstacle times, I took my iPad with me. I was reaching out to people, messages, planning classes. I mean, I was doing everything that I could that and still be as present as possible in my circumstances. And then one time I had a class. This was one of my bigger classes, in fact, that I'm there at the class and I get a call from one of my sons saying he's got to take Don to the ER because he had just broke his collarbone. He was fracturing bones very easily, and then another class. One was he actually was in surgery at this time, and it ended up that this is for a femur fracture, and I get a call from the doctor and says things have turned critical here. He's in ICU, and so I had to leave the class and I had to run and I had to catch up with people afterwards. And it wasn't like the way I wanted to do things. I was like running like, this isn't really exactly how I want to do this, but I've got something really important here. And so I didn't always get to do things just the way I wanted to do it. It was just like things weren't always going
messy,
just.
But it can still work when it's messy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it can still work. But, I mean, there was even one more surgery after that too, when he got sepsis in his shoulder that I had to, I don't know if I might even had to have you take that class for me. I remember, and I was warned then by the doctor that he might not come out of that surgery alive. So, I mean, I was dealing this, and honestly, because the why was so big, I can't say everything in my life I could do at that same momentum. That's not me, but that was a time that through what this opportunity was and what it was going to mean for our family, I didn't let anything just stop me. I had to take breaks at times, for sure, but I still always tried to be communicative with people, and so that they knew what was happening, and if I had to get back to them and all. And it's just, I think, the really cool thing is that when we go say these obstacles, but still, yet the dōTERRA business and what I was doing, the activities were really kind of filling my cup too at the same time, because I could be able to come home and be able to, it just helps us not to just focus on our problems. Instead, it was helping us to, it was spilling over from what I was doing on to my kids and my late husband. It was just, it just through around those obstacles, we were still finding some delights in life.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. More than just the income, you were finding a lot of blessings in the products, the essential oils, and I know just knowing you, the ability to connect with people and bring them hope. And I think one thing that maybe hasn't really come out yet in our conversation is there's a lot of other people suffering with a lot of health issues that you are really helping and making a difference in their lives by introducing them to a natural way to take care of themselves. So, you can't help but have joy in that process. I remember you saying that to me a lot. It's giving me that positive thing to focus on. So when it got really hard during the most difficult times, why didn't you stop or just say, I can't anymore? What kept you going?
Well, like I said, I did have sometimes take some short breaks and all because it was necessary. But stopping altogether, once I started it, stopping altogether, it never crossed my mind. This was, I just believed it was an answer to unspoken prayers, really. I mean, there was prayers we had, but it was more than what I didn't even know to pray for, to tell you the truth. I didn't know existed, that God could provide something like this, and that it was really his provision for us. You know, the supplements and aromatherapy were just helping Dawn so much that it just made the journey much different than what you would expect. And it helped our whole family. I mean, we were all just totally just helped with our mood support. I mean, because it was definitely, we were in a process of grieving then, you know, already it had started, and yet the oils just helped support us through that. And well, also, you know, I'm just, like I said, my family was excited. If I was enrolling somebody or I hit a rate, everybody was celebrating with me there. And to think that, to be in that place of our life, what we're going through, to still have something to celebrate for, and we did. It was awesome.
And Dawn was so supportive and excited for you, I remember, and celebrating.
Yes, yeah, super. It was awesome. And I just knew I couldn't quit. I just really, Tanya, you taught me how to reach goals the first time ever in my life I'd ever actually set a goal, because I was really always afraid of letting myself down if I didn't make it. So, you know, if I were to do anything, it'd be real secret. I didn't want anybody to know I wanted something, because if I didn't get it, it's okay. I'm still good. And so you really helped me a lot with that. And I really saw that dreams were a possibility at that point. It was a possibility. And so those last 2 months of Dawn's life, you know, I had to pull back in a way that was really, actually, it was hard for me, because I'm so energized and fed by what I was doing. But I had a higher calling at that point, was to be by his side. And so you were there as far as the support, where you know, I may have, you know, had someone reach out to you, give their number during that time, so that I didn't want to lose connection.
You had customers, you had built a business that continued to sustain through that break that you needed to take. And that is such a great thing about this kind of business.
It is. It is. It definitely is. And that's really that example of that team support too. You're not in it just by yourself. You're not, you know, and that's what really made the difference.
The checks didn't stop coming when you had to take a break. What a blessing,
right? It was a huge blessing. It did, because at that point, at least, it was filling in what we did not have, and it was really awesome. And you know, and I mean, after Dawn passed away, I did go through a little bit of an identity crisis. My kids were graduating; they were leaving home, and I was really trying to redefine who I was. And so, but the thing is that I'm so thankful I had already began with dōTERRA, because it gave me something to look forward to. I knew that I had a go-to. I had the Lord, absolutely, and I had friends, but something that I could invest in. And so, and then not too long after, God blessed me with meeting Kirk and starting now, it was at that point, it just began another journey. And in that, the blessing was that Kirk inspired me to dream some new dreams with him. And this was the first time in my life that I ever really thought I could dream dreams that could really come true.
Yeah.
So I introduced the man of my dreams, Kirk, here.
It was a surprise to everyone, but such a great, wonderful twist in your story to have this redeeming new relationship, and it's been awesome to watch you guys meet, fall in love, get married, all of that, and form this business partnership as well. So, okay, I'm going to turn it to Kirk. He's been so patiently just sitting there smiling, letting Ramona talk and me talk. But we want to hear from you, Kirk, because you have become such an instrumental part of Ramona's business. It's now your business. And you have such an interesting perspective because you didn't have the same story that Ramona or I had, where you found the oils and you used the product and then you thought about the business and then you started something from scratch. You met Ramona after she had grown and developed her business. In fact, I remember Ramona, I want to say it was within the last few days of Dawn's life, if I remember right, that you even rank advanced in there. Somewhere in that time period that you had, it was progressing because
might have been
invested in
yeah.
A month, maybe. Okay. So your business had grown. You really had a reliable source of income coming in. You could definitely wrap this all up and say you've already experienced success. And then Kirk meets you and learns a little bit about your business that he didn't know anything about, and had to kind of take a look from this outside perspective to see, well, what is it that you are up to over here, and what is this business all about? So you had to kind of form your own opinion, Kirk, based on what you kind of saw as a brand new person walking into this this business that Ramona had built. What were you thinking? What was your perspective? Can you dive into that a little bit for us?
Well, it definitely was a process, and I had spent nearly 3 decades in corporate America in worksite health promotion, and I stumbled onto dōTERRA products before I met Mona, and I literally stumbled onto them. But we got together, and as I watched her in her business, I really was searching for a way to incorporate my skill set and my experiences into her business, but honestly, it was a struggle. And it was at a point where it's like, I'm not sure this can work, me working with her or helping her. Then I went to my first convention in support of Mona. And it was at that convention, my opinion of dōTERRA, a global convention in Salt Lake City, and just my perception of who dōTERRA was as a company really changed. And we toured their corporate facilities. I saw the science behind the oils. I saw what they were doing globally with the co-impact sourcing and helping hands. And then I took a better look at the business model. And then I added it all up and realized I could still work in the world of wellness. And that really sealed the deal.
Mm-hmm. And you do have a unique perspective because you have been in, athletics and wellness, and I think it was just a neat partnership. So let's talk about that partnership. Tell me a little bit about how you moved from this being Ramona's thing, to viewing it as your thing too, and that you were partnering with her in it. How did you kind of grab a hold of this as something that you were involved in and pursuing as well?
Yeah, as mentioned, it was a process, and it still continues to be a little bit of a process, but I saw the opportunity to impact people's lives and help them thrive, just not exist. And that was a big attraction. Plus, we saw how our skill sets complemented each other, and the quality of the dōTERRA products, the integrity of the company, and I had a platform to share my story and my faith. It all combined for a win-win.
Yeah, how fun. It was, I would say, was definitely a divinely orchestrated thing, because it just, it evolved, but it really did come together in such a great partnership. So I know you guys, Ramona, you've built a strong business. Kirk has come into dōTERRA, partnered with you. As part of that process, as your leaders now, you have coached. You've both coached, mentored, trained a lot of people. You have a lot of team members building their own businesses that you have helped. And so, I know that you've had the same experience I have, where you've seen people really go for it and do well. And you've seen other people come up with all kinds of reasons why they just don't think they can make a go of it. And They feel defeated before they really even have success, and it's hard to watch when you know that possibility is there and they could do it, and then they either opt out or they play small or they kind of shrink back, and they just see that there's things that are deal breakers for them, but they don't really necessarily need to be deal breakers. So can you give me some examples of some of the most common, maybe false assumptions that people make about building a doTERRA business that keeps them from going for that? And let's just look at these as kind of sometimes myths, like they're false assumptions, and that we just know they don't have to be deal breakers. They're not necessarily based in truth, it's perception. And so can you tell us a little bit about some of the most common ones you've seen, and then kind of the counter to that, why they really aren't valid?
Okay, yeah, definitely. I'm going to say the most common one that I hear, okay, is they'll say, I love the products, but I am no good at sales. I mean, I have one friend that says, I'd rather clean toilets in Washington, D.C., public toilets, than sell anything, okay? There's some people that really have some strong opinions there, and that's what they're visualizing. Well, you know, I can say there's one person that can, just an example I've seen is like, they'll say, oh, I love these products, but no good at sales. But yet the same person I can see out on social media, and they'll say, hey, XYZ's gym is just offering 100 discounted memberships. I got mine. Who's going to join me and be my workout buddies? And, you know, it's like, she just sold some memberships for that gym, and she's not getting a dime. She's not getting anything for it. And so people don't realize every day they're probably selling something. And so that's viewed as negative, maybe if they think they're going to get some money from it or something, you know. And I think so many people are really afraid of kind of like being that pushy, high pressure salesperson that, you know, kind of slimy, you know.
None of us want to be that person.
They don't want to be that person. They don't want to be that slimy person. And so so they look at the very worst example to say that's what they would be if they were doing what I'm doing. That's what they would be. They'd be that very worst person there. Like, for example. But you know, the truth is, it's like, they'll stop and think, is when was the last time that they purchased something and that salesperson valued them, they cared about them, their goal was to fit them with what exactly their need was and desire or want, and they walked away feeling really valued, and even told some other people about them and referred them, go to them, they treated us so well. And you know, they forget about the examples of people caring for them, and instead they go to that bad example and say, I don't want to be that. And I think that's really a big myth, because there is product moved in this business. So yes, we wouldn't be truthful if we didn't say there's sales involved in it. That would be truthful. But the point is, what's more important than anything is that we care about people, and we want to meet a need. We want to every day be thinking, who can I do a favor for?
Yeah.
Who can I help today?
Who can I serve?
And yeah, and when people share with us, everybody, it doesn't take most people, I'll say most people, but just a few minutes, and you will hear about either their health or a financial need. It's there. It doesn't take very long. And there's opportunity all around us. So I think people it is a myth. They've got a preconceived picture in their mind that just isn't true.
Yeah, it's not. And I'm so glad someone shared the products with me. Completely changed my life. I never felt like, you know, oh, she gained from that, you know, and I doubt that you feel the same either.
Oh, you're right.
I remember just wanting to resource you and help you, and that's how I feel with everyone. that I share with, and I know you do too. And when you're coming from a place of serving and helping, and you know you're offering them something of value that they're going to be grateful to have, it's a whole different position than, you know, selling something that is just maybe a luxury item that they're going to regret buying, something like that. So it's great perspective. Thank you for saying that. It's such a big thing. Is there anything else? Kirk, do you have anything to add to that? No, that's kind of the main one. I would say that is probably a top objection.
That's
and
that's
time.
One of the
People that don't think they have time, but I just think, honestly, your story right there just dispelled that. I don't have time, because we have the power.
Well, there is one.
Okay, Kirk.
There is one real quick, and that's that false assumption of, well, I've got to leave my job, I've got to leave my career. And, you know, I had some of those same thoughts myself. And I've read a book called The 4-Year Career, and that changed my whole perspective on entering into this industry and teaming up with Mona and dōTERRA and you, Tanya. It was a big game changer for me. It's really a big help.
Yeah. Okay, so you know, in our business and in the team that you're growing, I like to see it as there's a place for everyone. You know, we have our product users that just shop, and we like to get them discounted pricing, and they shop out wholesale, and they're using their product. And if that's what they're gaining from dōTERRA, then we'd love to support them in that. You know, we're not a team or a company of pressure at all. Many people don't involve themselves in the income earning side, and that's great. We also have people that just share a little bit, kind of like the lady, you know, advertising for the gym. They're just referring people. They're just sharing how the products have helped, and they're making a little bit on the side, enough to pay for their oils, maybe enough for a little side added income. And then there are those who kind of see the big vision like you did, and decide, I want that. I want a replacement income. I want a full-time income. I want a residual income that can continue to grow. Maybe they want to get out of a job or get out of debt, or just have time freedom again and have that reliable income. So you are so great at supporting people at all of those different levels and really giving people the freedom to choose for themselves. But in that, I've seen the most magical, I guess, maybe that's not the right word, but the most exciting impact that has happened in people's lives when you really have people that you're partnering with that want to go all in, that want to say, yeah, I can put in part-time hours to build this residual, reliable income for my family. Show me how to do it. Teach me how to do it. So I know that you are always looking for people that you can help in that way, and that you're growing your business by partnering with more people. But the real blessing is the people that can find the same blessing that you and I have found. And so as you're kind of partnering with people, bringing on new people, we're always expanding, bringing on new people. And, you know, maybe there's a listener out there thinking, is this a fit for me? Maybe there's a need that they're having. Maybe they're in a crisis like you were, or maybe just wanting a little extra income and kind of contemplating, well, would I fit? Would this work for me? Could I do it? Tell us a little bit about what you've learned about who does well at this, and what kind of person you're looking for in your business to partner with. Who do you enjoy working with? What kind of qualities are you looking for? Can you just kind of maybe give us a little bit of a basic list of who would make a great wellness advocate as a part of your team, with your team culture, under your leadership? What would someone need to know if this is something they should look into?
Okay, well, what we see and what we're kind of trying to keep, I don't say looking for is the word, but just always aware of the people that are best fit in joining us would be, it's someone who loves helping others. They love helping others with their health and their finances, and they have a positive outlook. That's essential, because really in order to actually build a business, people need to sense that you, well, they're attracted to people who are positive. Do you want to join anybody who's not? You know, so they need to be positive. That's really important, and positive outlook and influence on other people. And then also, you know, just knowing, and they're willing, they want to skill up, because there are some important things you need to learn as you go, and a lot of it is just even about our mindset, what we think that we can do to help just build our own belief that we are capable. We are very capable, and so they need to be capable. And they need to be committed, and just I would say an underlying is, you know, to be a world changer, to be able. They want to be that. They want to make a difference in others' lives. This is something bigger than themselves.
That's the core. It's the core of our company, and I definitely see that on your team. That service of others is huge. Anything else? Do you want to add anything to that, Kurt?
Yeah, just looking for people that really want to partner, roll up their sleeves and dive in. I'm still amazed and impressed about how many resources there are out there for people to use and take advantage of. And Tanya, so appreciate what you provide on Freedom Tree. It's just, I'm blown away about all of the resources we have to meet people at their point of need, to assist them in their journey. And so we're really looking for people to partner with, you know, amazing products, amazing company. And we just want to find those people that are ready to roll up their sleeves, and we'll meet them with whatever level they're at.
Yeah. You know, and I want just to add to that, what he says about amazing company. I mean, we're talking a debt-free company.
Absolutely.
You know, that they want their wellness advocates to also be free of debt too. And we are thankful for that. We love that. And that's where we want to be.
Yeah, we actually, as a company, have a whole program to help people get out of debt. That's a big core mission of our company on the business side.
Right.
And I love that.
And I would add and about what's great too about this company, you know, there are those misconceptions that people are imagining of the old model of direct sales, is that you're in debt, you've got to buy lots of product, your shelves are stocked, you are driving around with your trunk full of product, you're delivering, you've got quotas that the company's actually putting on you, or you just lose your business. There's so much. None of that is a part of this. Yeah. And that's what is so awesome. So I think that's an important message that we would love people to know, that could be thinking about considering, is this for them? Because honestly, the company takes care of all of that for us.
They do.
Have all that.
And I really love that we're really part of a company that's redefining network marketing and doing it in a very, very different way with a lot of integrity. And I was like you, I was very anti, I don't want to do anything like that. Had some bad taste in my mouth, and I found nothing but the opposite. I'm so proud to be part of a company with so much honor and integrity. It's helping so many people. So that's awesome. Great quality. So I'm actually going to, give a little of my 2 cents. And I can't say enough about Ramona and Kirk. We have so many amazing leaders on our team, and they are definitely in that category. I see them committed to those that they're leading. They are such positive. You guys are so positive. You're authentic. You're real. You're willing to share your struggles, but you're also willing to share what you've learned and how it's working for you. And you've helped so many people grow income for themselves. And the ripple effect continues to grow. You guys are such encouraging leaders. And Kirk, I know you have a history in coaching and mentoring, and that definitely is evident in what you're doing in dōTERRA, that positive, really digging in. You talk about rolling sleeves up and having people that want to learn and grow and are teachable, but you roll your sleeves up as well. Both of you do. And you're really in a position of servant leadership, which I love. And one thing I have seen with Ramona and now with Kirk as well is a commitment that I have to rely a lot on my leaders on my business, and I have no question on their commitment that they're in this for the long haul. They went clear across the world over to Eastern Europe with me to do training with our company's top leader last year. And so they really have the knowledge, some of the best knowledge of the skills needed to do this well. And I trust them so much to lead those that are on their team. So, I think that this story is going to encourage a lot of people that are maybe already building a dōTERRA business, maybe on another team, and that's exciting. And I love that your message can serve a lot of people. I also know that there's probably people that haven't ever experienced dōTERRA, maybe never even considered this, that maybe your story will spark some interest. And I guess what I just want to say is, if you're looking for great leadership and a great team, I can't say enough about Ramona and Kirk, and just really want to edify what they're doing. And I know there's more people out there that are going to be so blessed to partner with you. So I'm excited to see, even in the next year, who steps forward and says, show me, teach me. I want to change my life too. So thank you both for giving me an hour of your time and sharing so vulnerably and even painful things and joyful things. I know that it'll be used and that it'll bless other people. Thank you so much for how you've blessed our family and our business as being leaders on our team, and for your commitment. So thank you. And I just
Thank you.
wish you great things. I really do believe the best is yet to come in your business. It's pretty exciting. Okay.
Thank you, Tan.
All right. Bye, everyone.